Hello, audience. My name is Dawson. His name is Justin.
Hello.
And today we want to welcome you guys back to episode 5 of Throwback Thursdays. Of course, this is the show that we watch a throwback movie, 2005 and back, because that's pretty throwback for us. And I think that this week, this is my week to pick movies. This might be the oldest movie we've watched so far on Throwback Thursdays.
Mm-hmm.
So I told Justin yesterday that I picked a movie that that I already picked a movie, and I kind of mentioned it yesterday. But of course, it is a movie about nothing but pure imagination, and that is Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
Okay, Johnny Depp, here we
Uh,
come.
it's not Johnny Depp, you jackass! Stop
I
making that
know.
damn joke. Not funny anymore. You made it like 3 times.
Okay, I want to say honestly, the first few times I said it, it's honestly because they're both in my head filed under Chocolate Factory. I had to look at the files in my head. They both have the Chocolate Factory.
Willy
So,
Wonka, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory,
mm,
and Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
I know that.
They're different. So
Yes.
yeah, I've been wanting to watch it since Gene Wilder's passing, and I watched a few clips. Of course, like I mentioned, Pure Imagination, that song he sings in the movie. I watched that, and I want to watch it again. So yeah, let's get to it.
Let's get to it. And we're back. We just got done watching Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, and Dawson. I always go first when we talk about things. And this is your week, and this is a movie I know you have a great, deep love in your heart for. So, tell us how you feel.
Okay, so I have watched Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory since I was a little kid. There's two movies I watched quite a bit. One being The Mask, and one being Willy Wonka and the Charlie Factory, and the Charlie Factory and the Chocolate Factory. And I have not seen this movie in probably coming close to a decade. While watching this movie, I was engrossed in so much fun and so many memories and just laughter. Gene Wilder, what a casting for a millennium for this character. Like I when I look at when I hear Willy Wonka, if I hear of the Wonka candy, I immediately picture Gene Wilder in my head. And while watching this movie, he is so. Can you agree that he is so mysterious and so he almost feels threatening at some points because he is a chocolatier candy man who has locked himself away with a bunch of other little candy makers,
Hmm.
and he's secretive. I mean, he's sitting there and he's like when Violet eats the candy that turns from the appetizer
The
to
three-course
the
dinner.
3 course dinner thing, he's like, "Oh no, don't do it." And it's just like, what the fuck? He literally knows exactly what's about to happen.
Hmm.
And it happens, and he's like, "Oh, it's always the dessert. We can never get that right. They always turn to blueberries, because of course it's blueberry pie favored." And then when Augustus falls into the water, and
Chocolate.
I say water because it's literally water. It's actually water.
Hmm.
But yeah, when he falls into the chocolate river, and his mom's like, he can't swim, and he's like, it'd be a good time to learn how to swim. And then the bubbles start coming up, and they're like, "What is that?" And he's like, "He's probably drowning." And then the little thing comes up and sucks him up, and then he's like, "Well, there's a lot of built up pressure," and then whoop, he'll shoot up. And then the bad egg thing where she just drops down the chute. It's just, I know all this stuff is happening. But as
Hmm.
a kid, I wasn't looking out for how Willy Wonka was acting during those moments. The things he said, I took it at point face value, and I was a kid. I didn't really look into it, but watching this movie, Justin's gonna bring it up. It's a movie of its time with the special effects. because there's obvious things where there's a point where during Pure Imagination where Gene Wilder's singing it, he walks on this road and he's kicking stuff, and he's
Mm-hmm.
literally kicking painted balloons,
Yeah.
and that's literally what he's kicking. And there's nothing. They didn't try to cut the noise. He's just kicking painted balloons. And then there's a part where they're going through the chocolate factory. They're going through the factory, and there's just a bunch of candies just made out of plastic. It's
Mm-hmm.
just plastic, and it's see through. You can totally know what it is. The water, or I keep on calling it water. The chocolate river is literally just colored water, more or less, muddy water. Uh, and then there's a scene where Grandpa Max, oh my God, Grandpa Max, Grandpa Joe, and Charlie are drink the seltzer water basically that makes them float.
Mm-hmm.
And there's this whole scene where they're starting to fly. You can see the wires on Charlie. I was literally looking and I can see the wires and I can see his pants kind of pulled up a little bit. And then they start flying up farther and farther towards the fan, and it's totally green. Of course, it's green screen, but it's they're all fuzzy. You can kind of see like little green reflections on them. It's totally of its time with the special effects, but I loved every moment of it. Every moment. I have to say, and I don't know what you're thinking about this movie. I don't know because of its time, kind of like Back to the Future for you, that you're just like, yeah, it was kind of enjoyable, but I'm probably not going to watch it again. I have to say, this is now one of, if not my new favorite movie. I'm
Mm-hmm.
putting it out there. I don't know what about it. I don't know if I'll wake up tomorrow and be like, wow, that's just the high of watching it again for for a long time. But wow, Gene Wilder's character, and I apologize. We probably should have. Justin's going to put it up way before, but we didn't even talk about the synopsis. Charlie receives a golden ticket to the factory. His sweet tooth wants going into the wait. Charlie receives a golden ticket to a factory. His sweet tooth wants going into the lushing candy. It turns out there's an adventure in everything. I That was a terrible synopsis. And it stars, of course, Gene Wilder, Jack Albertson, and Peter Ostrom. Ostrom, not Ostrom, Ostrom. Um, and it's just, I don't know. I love the songs. I love the songs in this movie. I'm not a huge fan of musicals. They're not my favorite.
Mm-hmm.
But I love the little songs that last 30, 40 seconds. And Pure Imagination, when it came up, I was just like just pure emotion. And I was looking around, all the camera movements, the way the little spark and the little glim in Gene Wilder's eyes. It just, God, I love this movie. I love this movie. Um, and there's just so many good parts about it. And I can name all the parts that are kind of, you know, that are kind of bad, not even bad, but just like when it comes to the effects or when it comes to there's this whole point in the movie in the beginning, or not in the beginning. It takes 40 minutes, by the way, for Charlie to get the golden ticket. It's 35 minutes and something before he actually gets the ticket.
Which is
Uh,
a good chunk of the movie.
Oh yeah, it takes a while for him to get the ticket, but the buildup is nice because they're visiting the other kids. It shows off the entire world and how much everybody wants this ticket. And a lot of movies of that time does have a hefty buildup. Now, like when we see the Marvel Cinematic Universe, we have these built-up moments through different movies that when it's all laid in front of us, we kind of just understand it and get it.
Mm-hmm.
This movie, unless you knew anything before this, you really wouldn't know. So the buildup was fine, and for some people, I bet it was a little bit long. But there's this moment in the movie where there's a newscaster that says they find out that the fifth ticket is actually a fake, and that the last ticket's actually still out there. And this newscaster says, I wonder who the boy is that's going to get it, or I wonder what's going to go through his mind. Like
Mm-hmm.
he emphasizes that it's going to be a boy that gets it, and maybe it's just a general term. They're like, I wonder who's going to get it, or I wonder what he's going to think, kind of thing. It could be like a general thing, but I was like, oh boy, are you just is it Charlie? Is it Charlie? I wonder if it's Charlie. Um, but yeah, there are a few parts of the movie I'm like, there's a little bit of a flub, but overall, I love this movie, and like I said, one of my new favorites, if not my favorite. What about you? Oh God, I'm just waiting for you to tear it apart.
I'm not going to tear it apart. I'm just going to say it's not my most favorite movie of all time.
I was
It
expecting it to be.
is not even near anywhere near my top 20,000 favorite movies of all time. It's an okay movie, but like you basically hit the nail on the head with my opinion of it. It's just it just does not look great, which means I can't really use that as a flaw against the movie because it's from the 70s.
71.
Yeah, so the very beginning of the 70s. But I mean, yes, some of the music is good. I feel like the his mother singing went on way too long. Um, I mean, the movie to me is just okay. I don't have the same nostalgic attachment to it as you do. Like I saw it as a kid, but I wasn't like in love with it as a kid. So, to me, it is just okay. Like it's very corny and very cheesy at points. But I will say, I really did like the scenes where basically kids were dying, and uh, Willy Wonka just like could not give a fuck. And he was like,
Oh yeah,
"Oh
because
no, stop it! Come back! Don't do that."
yeah, because you really see that this guy is like who like because the whole premise of the movie, if you guys have not seen it, is at the end of the movie you finally find out why Willy Wonka is opening up his factory again, and it's so he can find a kid with imagination and stuff. Not a businessman. He wants somebody to run his factory. He wants a kid to do it when he's gone because he's getting tired. He's done this for a long time. So he's basically takes these five kids and he knows one of them has to at least be a good egg.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and he puts them all through this all through the ringers. He takes them on this crazy tour where most of the kids except for Charlie, gets in trouble or something happens to them.
Die.
We said they die. I mean, the whole thing about this movie is Willy Wonka at the end says, "Oh no, they'll go back home. They'll be fine. They'll be returned to their state." But a lot of people speculate that no, they died. They're dead. Augustus drowned.
Violet
Violet
exploded.
exploded. What's her name? She went through the incinerator.
Veruca.
Baruga. She went through the incinerator. Baruga. Oh my God, that little girl played the character so well because you were genuinely annoyed by her. You were just like, shut up. Just shut up. Like, stop giving her what she wants. Somebody hit her. Like, just disappear. She went to the incinerator. The kid, he's stuck small. They're gonna basically rip him apart to the taffy thing. The
Mm-hmm.
cowboy kid. These kids, they're dead or they're in a pretty bad state. And then there's Charlie at the end, which he loses initially because they were going through Wonka's experiments, more or less, his experimental candy, and they're
Mm-hmm.
told not to touch anything, but they drink the bubbly water that makes them float, or the bubbly drink
The
that
fizzy
makes them
drink.
float, the fizzy drink. And Wonka said at the end, he was like, "I know you did this. You failed. You lose. Good day, sir.
Can I just say,
Get out."
um, Grandpa Joe's reaction to that is completely unjustified because they literally broke the only rule, and he's
Oh
like,
yeah, not to
"You're a
do it.
crook, you're a thief, you are such a
I
terrible, you're
mean,
a
when when
monster."
it, when
Like,
it, when it comes to
no,
the
you
kid,
broke the rule.
yeah, when it comes, but then he starts reading. Oh, and don't you love? I mean, I don't know if you love it because you already said your opinions, but don't you think it's just great that everything in his office is half?
I mean, I don't understand it, but
I
sure,
feel like I feel like it's almost like
it's because he's insane.
he's like Two-Faced or something maybe to that effect. I don't, but I'm gonna look it up. I'm gonna watch a few videos on. I try to find something about that.
Hmm.
Um, but you know, just he brings up the contract, and Charlie's contract's half, and it says here in fine print he gets the half magnifying glass. And he starts reading it, and then he's like, you should have read the contract. Like, it says it right here that, he lists off a bunch of stuff. But yeah, I mean, they did break the one rule. But then Charlie gives him back the okay, hold on. It's
The everlasting
the
gobstopper.
everlasting gobstopper. And because of that, because Charlie could have easily took it home, or because
Sold
of
it
Charlie
to the dude.
sold
Was
it to
basically
the dude,
whole
who
point.
yeah, he could have given it to the guy that he won. He gets the factory.
Mm-hmm.
But you really see, like, me and Justin talked about this movie a little bit after Gene Wilder's passing, because I watched a few videos about it, and we're talking about how when you first are introduced to Wonka, he's a cripple. And Gene Wilder said that he needs to be a cripple. He needs to. There needs to be something where everybody drops their guard on him. And what could this crippled guy do? What could this crippled old man do to us? It's not gonna be bad. Then all of a sudden his cane gets stuck. The crowd holds their breath, and he does a cart roll. And that's the first moment you see him. You see his Two-Face, see his little mirage or whatever. And then the rest of the movie, you see that he'll be happy and bubbly and fine and inspirational and be all great. And then all of a sudden he'll be just screaming at you, or through the little boat ride where all the flashing colors and all the little pictures popping up there scaring people. He's just like he's just insane. And it just I couldn't think of any other person to play this Wonka than Gene Wilder.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just perfect for the role, in my opinion. But I do respect your opinion, because I know how you are with movies. And why do we do Throwback Thursday if you're not a fan of throwback movies?
Because maybe I'll find a movie.
I mean, you did like Karate Kid.
That's like my favorite movie all time.
You did like Karate Kid.
Yeah, Karate Kid was good. It wasn't really Throwback Thursday. That was.
Oh, that was recommendation, but it was a throwback movie. It was an older movie.
Yeah, it was still an old movie.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know, it had me in sort of a feeling, and I love this movie. I'm glad I actually picked up an actual physical copy. That's what I watched it on.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'll definitely be watching this movie a lot in the coming future. But yeah, so there's two things we want from you, Justin. We'll both give our ratings, and then we will give will we recommend it or not.
Mm-hmm.
That's, I guess, what we'll do. So Justin, what do you rate Willy Wonka in the Chocolate Factory? In the Chocolate Factory.
So since my opinion was this movie is just okay, it's not great, it's not good, it's just okay, I'm going to give it a 6.5.
Alright.
Because it's just okay. I probably won't ever watch it again, because I don't have that interest in it, so it's just okay. It's just there for me.
Yeah.
This movie just seems kind of like an odd movie to stay as like a forever classic and like be beloved by everybody, because it's just an odd movie. In my opinion.
There's so many of those classic movies that are just odd.
Yeah.
Because there was no like cap to filming.
Mm-hmm.
The weird movies nowadays, we all say, "Oh, it's an indie film," because it's weird or it's different.
Mm-hmm.
There's none of those movies out there. Like every movie that we see now is like very cut and paste. Here it is. It's very dry. The characters are very dry. But back then, not back then, it wasn't that long ago, but in that time period, there wasn't really anybody saying, "No, you can't do that."
Yeah.
That's just that. You can't have a little boy drowning in a chocolate river. The audiences are not gonna draw to that. It's not gonna be good. And all these kids, like, they're all dead. You mean they're dead? Like, what the hell's happening?
The movie's rated G, everybody.
Yeah. So I mean, I get what you're saying, but I mean, look at Karate Kid. No one knew that some kid being bullied was going to be this kid being bullied was going to have this mentor living basically in his little complex that's going to teach him kung fu, teach him karate, and he's gonna beat him, go to that's just a weird concept. But it works, and it worked for 5 movies. But yeah, so I didn't mean to draw that out. 6.5 out of 10. Okay, I can deal with that. I'm not
What
gonna.
do you give it, Dawson?
It would be easy for me to say this is a 10 out of 10 movie because I loved it so much. I want to give it that, but for me, I'm gonna give it a 9.
Hmm.
I want to give it a 10. I really do, but I feel that's a little bit unfair because there is some nostalgia in it. So
I
yeah,
think that's the
9.
highest you've ever rated a movie.
No, well,
Have you
what
ever
what
given anything else
what
a 9?
what did we give Don't Breathe? Did we give it an 8 or a 9? I think you gave it a 9. I gave it an 8.5.
Yeah, something like that.
I just enjoy this movie and I enjoy the flaws.
Yeah.
I enjoy the flaws because it just feels comforting. It feels heartwarming, and I don't know. But I'm not going to draw it out too much longer because this video is already going to be a pain in the butt. Um, would you would you recommend Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory?
Just as a point of it's a classic, sure. I feel like everybody's already seen this movie at
Mhm.
least once, but sure.
Um,
And
yeah,
yours is an obvious answer.
yeah. I'm going to recommend it. I'm going to recommend it for anybody that you know wants some love, wants some goodness in their heart. Heartwarming movie about chocolate. So yeah, guys, Justin, take us out.
So yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. Like, thank y'all for watching. Subscribe to join us on Saturday for Animation Saturday. Animation Saturday. It's another one of Dawson's picks.
Yeah.
So hopefully something good. And we'll see y'all then.
Bye.
Peace.